Welcome back. In this video we're going to learn how to multiply integers. So really the only important thing that's new here for multiplying integers is the signs, because integers include, and let's just remind ourselves, integers, we use this crazy bold-faced Z to represent them, is the set of all the negatives you can think of. Let's work our way up. -3, -2, -1. Then we hit 0, and we head ourselves into the positives. 1, 2, 3, and we keep on going in that fashion. So integers include negative signs, and of course includes 0, and it includes the positives. When we multiply, it's the same story as multiplying normally. So if you know your 12s tables, you got this down already. All you need to know is the sign rules. And the beauty of them, let's start with the easiest one. When we have a positive number times, and I'm using the dot to express multiplication, a positive number, we end up with a positive, just like we did before. Now here's where comes a new bit. Let's say we have a positive number times a negative number. Or the same story would be said if we have a negative number times a positive number, because order doesn't matter in multiplication. Positive times a negative, negative times a positive, same story. There's only one negative the whole time, which makes the entire thing negative. And last but not least, and this one's the funky rule, if we have a negative times a negative, which gets us a positive. So here we go. If you have one negative at any point in time, like this second example here, there's a negative in this box and there's a negative here. There's only one at any time. The thing is still negative. So one negative, it's still a negative. One wrong, you still did it wrong. But now let's go ahead and visit our double negatives. We have two negatives multiplied together, and we get a positive. So in math, two wrongs make a right. I know, it's kind of sad. And of course, when two rights is still good, right? Two positives is still positive. So those are the sign rules for multiplying integers, or else everything else is the same. So let's just see an example, get ourselves going, where we are asked to multiply. And let's say we have 3 times -5. So what we're going to do, 3 times -5. We have a positive number times a negative number, so our answer will be negative. 3 times 5 is 15. And that's all you have to do. So you need your sign rules and you have to know your multiplication rules. And now we just get to combine them. Let's say that's problem number 1. Let's do another problem. Let's say we have -3 times -5. Well, two negatives makes a positive when we're multiplying. Very important to understand the operation we're in. So a negative times a negative is in fact a positive. And 3 times 5 is 15, so no issues. All right, let's try another one. Let's say we have -3 times +5. Well, we have a negative times a positive, so our answer will be negative. And 3 times 5 is still 15, so nothing has changed. Notice it's the same as the first question. Positive times a negative, negative times a positive, we still end with a negative. And that's all you really need to know, is the sign rules. If you know how to multiply, this is going to be a cakewalk. Let's talk about division. Division is the same story. All we need to worry about is the sign rules. So our first thing, if we have a positive number divided by a positive number, we end up with a positive. If we have a positive divided by a negative, we end up with a negative. So if there's one negative, the whole thing is negative. Same deal if you have a negative divided by a positive, we have a negative. Now, let me make a note here. These two rules are the same story. Order matters in division, so that's why I wrote them as two separate rules. And last but not least, a negative divided by a negative is, in fact, a positive. So that's all you need to know.